If anybody up here, if you people are wanting to speak, you need to have your name on the board back here, on the sign-in. But otherwise, welcome to you here.
Yeah.
First thing on the agenda is election of board members, officers. I guess the first position is president.
I plan to nominate Seth. I don't know if he said he was open to it, so I guess I'll nominate Seth Schrader, even though he's not here.
Got a second to that?
Second.
Got a motion, a second to ask Seth Schrader. Be a good time to close the motions, it looks to me like, so. And so, all in favor of Seth Schrader for president for the next year, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Okay, vice president,
I would like to nominate David Johnson for vice chair.
Second.
okay. Got a motion, a second for Dave Johnson for vice chair. So, any other motions?
Move to close nominations.
Second.
All in favor, say aye.
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 Motion passes. We need any other board members? We need a secretary or anything? You're the secretary. You're unanimous. I guess you're stuck with me for this meeting yet then, so sorry about that. We got a little time to kill.
We can do the minutes.
Okay. We got to do the minutes for the last meeting. Any questions or corrections? Now we'll take a motion.
Move that we accept the minutes of the December 16th, 2024 meeting as presented.
Second.
Moved and seconded, we accept the minutes of the December 16th meeting? Yeah. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes.
Well, while we have a couple minutes, we could do the Taylor B under other business. If that-
Okay.
So, like it says in the packet, this was a inquiry by Allen County to, about this drain. It is currently a separate Whitley County and Allen County drains. Our portion drains into Allen County, but it is not a joint drain. It's located kind of right along SR 14 there, and crosses into Allen County just north of 14. I did a little bit of looking, and the total watershed is approximately 6,300 acres, and the length of the drain is just under 34,000 feet. It's split pretty evenly between the two counties. We have 42%, or I'm sorry, we have 58% of the watershed area, and we have 51% of the drain length. There are pros and cons to keeping it separate and to doing joint. Keeping it separate, we control all the funds and we can do what we want with our portion. However, you don't have any control of the downstream half of it that our part outflows to, and so Allen County can do what they wish with it. That's basically the.
So we can put it together and we can still keep control?
If we do it, if we make it
Do it
joint,
joint?
then it would just, we'd have to, whoever was on the Allen County.
You have a joint board
Yeah.
meeting.
Mhm. But I think it would be, we'd have to figure out whose jurisdiction it would be.
Because I think they thought it would be theirs, but they may not have other information.
Right, so if we have more, I'd have to look into if we have more of the watershed and the length, then maybe it becomes our jurisdiction and.
That's what I wonder. I hate to give up jurisdiction to them very bad.
Well,
I don't know what you guys think.
We don't have any control over it. If we have an issue and they decide they don't want to work with us on it, we're kinda stuck over here, and that's not fair to our taxpayers. I don't think we should relinquish our control over it myself.
But if it were a joint board and it was our jurisdiction, would you guys be interested in that? I don't know if Allen County's interested in that. They probably want the jurisdiction.
I'm sure they do, but I still stand by what I say, so.
So
you
just
guys
keep it separate.
Discuss it, yeah. You guys can discuss
So would you
what
think, would you do a joint board with them? As long as we got,
As long as we got control of it. Yeah. I mean,
Whatever it takes.
if it was reversed, they'd probably want some control over it too, because we could hold them up, so.
you hate to give up the bottom end.
Yeah.
Well, we don't have control of it now, but
Yeah. Are they wanting to do work on it?
that would be my assumption. And they probably want more money from, our side of the assessments.
Right.
And it's a non-tax drain for them right now.
Oh, it is.
Yeah.
There's no money in it.
Yeah.
It is also a DNR coordinated stream, which basically means they have jurisdiction over the capacity, the flow rate of the stream.
Really? So what would we need?
I think it'd just be, we respond to them with, you guys are not interested in a joint board with them as the main jurisdiction.
Just take a letter, right?
Yeah.
If that.
It's a non-tax drain on their end and they want it to be a joint board, that sounds to me like they want our money, right? If they don't have any money, why would they want a joint board other than to take our money to fix their problems?
Right.
Yep.
And I agree exactly with what Mike said, so.
Agree with you.
If they come back with more answers, maybe we'll reconsider it.
Okay.
Sound okay with everybody? Okay.
No, not that I've seen. It's pretty good.
All right, it's past 9:05. I guess that's first public hearing on the, what do they call that, Robinite or whatever?
Robinette.
Yeah. Drain. You wanna make presentation on that?
So on the Robinette, we had landowner Brady Wright requesting the assessment being raised for a tile replacement. I went out and met with him, looked at it. There were a lot of multiple suck holes. We need to replace probably at least 3,300 foot of 30-inch tile. We had a estimated cost of $125,000. Could be replaced in 2 phases. The first being roughly 2 to 3 years of collection. We're looking to raise it 40 per acre and 200 minimum. Right now it's $378 an acre and a $10 minimum.
Comments from the board on this? Do we have people in the audience on this drain? We got speakers, wherever you want to start.
Oh, do I need to come up there, or can I do it right here?
You can do it right here.
Well,
Okay.
let's, would you please come up to the mic so that it gets on the broadcast?
Sorry
Thank you.
about that.
Okay.
We'll probably have to, now that we're broadcasting.
Yeah,
Yeah, I don't have a problem with this, I just wanna know, we're starting on the other end of it, down on Brady's end,
Yes.
and then we're gonna, now, how much other trouble do we have, Max, all the way up to the other end of it?
We
Is my
haven't
question.
got past the road. We were just looking to get towards the road and then see what happens, let's see, to 800 south. Once we get across there, we can look, or if we didn't have any other work orders turned in on the upper half, so.
Because my water goes in clear at the other end, I'm clear at the far end of that.
Okay.
Opposite end.
Okay.
For the record, would you state your name and
Yeah,
address?
Philip House, 4372. east, 700 south.
Thank you.
Yeah, and, like I said, I don't have a problem with it, I just, I wanted to, cause I think I think Brady's been back in there before and fixed some suck holes and stuff like that. I was just curious what the rest of the tile is, and, how much money do we have in the fund so far for that?
$1,000.
Right now, we have $1,476 in there.
Okay, now, that's came
No, we have
from,
5,000.
Oh.
and that's
Oh,
all
okay.
came from our ditch assessments that we've been paying, and.
Yes.
that- If I understand right, that just, I know there's some other people that wonder, all that money comes in and goes into one fund for that particular drain, right?
Yes, correct.
That's what I thought,
Yeah.
yeah.
So once we get past 800 south, or we get up there, even in the meantime, we can look at the rest of that drain and see if there's any other problems, or if you guys have any problems up there, give us a call and we'll come out and look at it and see if there's
So
anything else.
we're talking here, it'll probably take how many years for this to fix what we got now?
We're gonna need, probably, I think, around 6 years. It'll take a couple years for the first section, and then we'll collect for a couple more years, and then we'll do that section and so on. And if we need to keep going, then we'll just keep
Because
collecting.
we just, it needs to drain. We need
Yeah,
to fix it,
yep, we'll
yeah.
just keep moving forward if we need to.
Okay,
Yep.
Thank you.
Floods on the top end.
yeah, a lot of times, if we get much rain down there on Bud and Janet's and all that fills in bad with water, so,
Okay.
we know we got a problem.
Right,
I
right.
mean, we just need to.
In the bottom, we were out on the bottom, and it's in bad shape, so it can be blocking, and then it comes up through Brady's property and then just makes its own ditch to the open ditch.
Cause it's gonna help, if we
Yeah.
relieve it down there, that's gonna
Yep.
make all of it.
Yep.
Okay.
Yep.
Where's that flood, when you get a bunch of rain, where did you say?
Right at the start of the
Right at the start of
Robinette.
it.
Back there where it started?
Yes,
Right.
Yeah.
yes.
Okay,
Can you come up here or not?
I choose not to, cause I handicap.
Okay.
We'll
forgive you.
My voice carries quite a bit anyway. I am probably the, most authority on this Robinette ditch that's living. And I can go back to the 40s, late 40s. And, the person that helped put this in, I knew. Because I remember my dad, I'm Al Esterline, and we are up there towards where he is, the upper end. And when you come down a quarter of a mile east of where it stops up there by his place, then it crosses into our place, which was our farm. And back in the late 40s, that area would flood all the way across our farm. And my dad would have to have a sled to get wood to come up. I can remember that over in the next farm over, the tile went into the woods, and they completely cleaned that out because the tile went through the Beard Woods. It's called the Beard Woods, the farm next to ours. And I don't think that goes through that over there anymore. But with the back where he's talking about, where it starts, Hasty, his water should have went north. But he brought it over to that county tile. Then that caused problems down on our farm because we had a muck area, to the point where the pressure would build up just that short period of time, going through our muck area. It would blow the tile up, and a 16-inch county tile, and it would blow that up, and when it filled with water, you could actually see where it was still coming in there. And the tile is not big enough to what the way they did it. But they went in and completely over where it went through that woods, completely cleaned that out, and that was the late 40s, because I can remember my dad doing that. And 20 years ago, Pettigrew, who owns the property where it crosses into the Esterline farm, his son and my nephew and I rerouted that county tile 20 years ago up out of that muck field. And it goes up, I don't know how, I can't see any of your maps or anything, but it should be mapped up around that muck field. It was taken to the west side of the muck field. And I don't remember how many feet it was, but we rerouted that halfway across our place to hook back into the county tile. And you need to walk all the way up to the end of it, because back in there was, over where he's talking about it flooding, there was some county tile broken back then, because I walked that whole area. But Paul Putman helped build that. I knew him, but we go back quite a ways there, because my mom and dad bought that farm from him in 1945.
Okay.
If there's anything else you want to know about the history of it, because I went through all this with Knafel. We was out there in the field one day and I was explaining it all to him. And
Yeah, we
If
get the
you-
bottom end opened up and repaired, then we'll keep looking and we can keep going north and get up where you guys are having the problems also.
I don't know what it is now, because I haven't been back there for quite a few years.
If they have any questions, they might get a hold of you. How's that sound?
Is Bill
Emmert.
Emmert here? Okay, the muck field where the problem is now, because in the 50s I raised 130 bushel corn, and that was really high for Whitley County in that area. But right now, that low ground where we went around is filled with water and cottonwoods growing up in it. And I told him I'd go through, because we ditched that whole place because we sold off part of the farm ground, and my sister Dorothy still owns some of it. But that muck area is all grown up with cottonwoods now, and because when he bought that, told him I'd go around it, because we had the farm ditch really good.
All right, well, thank you for your information. We'll take that all under consideration. Does anybody else got anything to say about that, ditch? Go ahead.
Hi, I'm Luann Davies. I own some of the property over by Esterlines. And I was curious, every time you guys work on some of the ditches, we get notified and what's going to cost each of us. And it's been quite some time since we paid any extra money. And I just want to know where our money's been going that we pay every year. I pay quite a sum every year in spring and fall. And you say you only got $1,000 in there?
No, there was 5,000. That was my mistake.
So, like, where's this money going?
Yeah.
Where's it been going? What have you been working on? Where I want to know.
Has Brady been getting paid?
So in the past, there has been other work orders on it with repairs. I don't have
I haven't
them.
gotten any notices where I owe anything on this Robinette farm.
Which we don't send anything just
You
if we
used to
have a
all the time.
repair.
We had to pay our part of it. And I haven't gotten any notices of what we owe on this at all.
They don't collect it unless they need to repair something.
I understand that, but I haven't gotten any collection notices on this at all.
When's
the last time we collected,
you know?
Or any of these ditches that go through there. And even on the 2 acres I live on 14, I haven't gotten any notices on those ditches, and there's like 5 of them.
Notices as far as,
That you're working on them, that we owe any money towards those, because we all have to pay a certain amount when you guys work on them. And I haven't had any notices that you guys have been working on anything.
Well, I think that's what today is for.
I understand that, this
Because
one,
we're gonna
I
work
understand that
on
on
it.
this one.
Yeah.
But I'm getting at is, if we haven't had any notices, to me, there should be more money in there for what everybody pays on these, our taxes.
There's probably been some repair work done on it.
But we haven't.
And it draws out now, and now they're trying to get to where we won't do any more repair work. We'll spend all the money on making it right.
But there's $5,000 in there, and nobody's gotten any notices on any repairs.
we don't normally send out notices for repairs. If we have to have a contractor come out and replace or repair suck holes or trees, roots,
It's just some
we
major
just do
repairs
it.
that we get noticed on?
Pardon me?
There's just major
20 and
repairs that we get
21.
noticed on, that we all owe a certain amount?
If you raise the assessment, then you're gonna get a notice for a public hearing, but
I understand that part, but I've always gotten notices that said, hey, look, we're making this repair, you know, you guys gotta split this amount to pay for this.
We'd have to hire a whole nother staff person if ultimately we sent out a notice to everybody affected when we did a little repair on a thing. I've been involved with the drainage board for 15 years and we've never done that. Because it would, I mean, you're talking about a tremendous amount of paperwork. This hasn't been collected since 2021, so that's probably why you haven't got anything in recent memory, because it hasn't been collected
I
in
know,
4
it's
years.
been a long time.
If you wanna know the history of what they've done and stuff, you could go up to the drainage upstairs after the meeting and Jenny would pull that up for you
Okay.
and get you some
I was just
information.
curious, because I
Yeah.
know I've gotten
That's about the best way to do it.
bills in the past.
Yeah, they must not have done anything in the recent years that we needed to collect on it, so we haven't.
That's what I'm saying.
And so that's why
There
we
hasn't
have,
been, so it seems like there
yeah.
should have been more money, I guess.
well,
is
if we're
what I'm
not
saying.
collecting, it's not raising any more money, so we have a balance of
Brady
$5,000.
did do some work on that one, cause I farmed that one
Okay.
field and he fixed a couple.
So yeah, they
suck
might have had
holes.
$1,000 or something taken out of it or whatever, repair was. And there was still enough money in there. And now it comes to the point where we need to make a big, adjustment.
Okay, these letters that we got, so we're gonna be paying our share of what's on those letters for what, 3 years is what you're saying, to get this paid for?
It's gonna be more than that.
That's what I was wondering.
It'll probably, especially if we have problems on the top end, it
So
could be,
it's gonna continue until,
yeah. Yes.
You said
okay.
5 or 6 years.
Just for this project to get us on the north side of 800, we're looking at probably 6 years. And then we will look into continuing it on past there.
Okay, that's what I wanted to know.
At the current rate, it only collects $1,400 a year, so that's why there's not very much money in there. The rate it's currently assessed, it collects $1,476 a year. So it just doesn't,
Any other questions?
Not anymore.
it doesn't get anything done.
Got a lady back here.
My name's Janet Jackson, 4442 East 700 South. Can you explain why on the Robinette drain, for the last 2 years, we've been paying on the Heinen drain?
Cause it goes into the Heinen drain probably,
Where is the Heinen drain from the Robinette?
on the very bottom. See that
This,
blue?
this blue line here.
Okay.
Yeah.
Because, yeah, like the last 2 years, they haven't charged me for the Robinette, but they've charged them for the Heinen. And if the Robinette needs that much fixture, why are we paying for another drain?
Probably cause that's the outlet, I would imagine. You gotta have a good outlet before you can, it
Yeah,
doesn't matter what you do.
It's the open ditch where all the water flows, so we need to keep it maintained also, which is probably on the spray program, any slide ins, any beaver dams. So that keeps getting collected on, but now, since the Robinette needs work, they'll probably, might not have to collect on both of them, but it's a good possibility we'll have to collect on both of them.
So I'm still kind of confused why we got the letter saying that we'd have to pay like so much to have it fixed, but yet we're not paying into that fund. Does
You
that
will
make sense?
be.
Yeah, you haven't paid on it here in the past couple of years, because there must not have been enough repair apps in there to work on it. So now that we need to do a tile replacement, that's why we're here today, to raise the assessment. So now, instead of collecting $1,400 a year, we'll collect $16,000, and then we can get that replaced.
Thank you. Anybody else? Board got any comments, questions?
Yeah,
Got one more.
I'm confused. And I confuse easily. Henry Janda, 4360 East, 700 South. My assessment, according to this letter, is gonna be $650 some odd a year. How many years is that gonna be there?
Right now, it's gonna take 6 years to get us to 800. So that'll be, I believe, 3,300
So
foot.
anything on the north end of that that is still crap is gonna stay that way.
No, we will, if we need to, we will keep collecting and
Does
keep.
anybody ever go up and really look at that drain, or do you just, when somebody gripes and puts
Yes.
in a work order?
More than likely, most of the time, only when a work order or a landowner calls in and says, hey, we have a problem, then I'll go out and look at it. So,
Well, Janet's been calling for years, it still floods. So somebody needs to take a look at that.
well, that's why we're replacing on the bottom end, to get that.
Yeah,
If the
well,
bottom end doesn't flow, the top end won't.
Try to
yeah,
get
I
you-
understand stuff runs downhill.
Right.
Yeah, okay, so it's open-ended on how long
It'll take a while.
okay. That's a little clarification, thank you.
Anybody else? Not? Board got a comment, questions, motion?
I motion that we do the proposed amendment to $40 per acre and a $200 minimum on the Robinette 574-00B.
I have to abstain, I farm on that. don't I?
Oh, what do we do then?
You're okay.
You can second.
I can second it.
Yeah.
I second the motion.
Still have a majority of those present, so.
Are there any other comments or questions? Not all in favor, say aye. Aye. Rob?
Abstain.
Yep. All right, thank you. We'll move on to the Schreidenauer.
Okay, on the Schoenauer,
Schoenauer.
we had, property owner Rodney Sheets was requesting the assessment be raised. There's been a lot of problems down on the Knolt, which that's initially what he wanted raised. But in order to get to have a good outlet for the Knolt, we need to work on the Schoenauer. So what we're going to do is replace 1,000 foot on the Schoenauer, get past that confluence of the Knolt, and then we will raise the assessment on the Knolt and continue.
Anybody on in the audience on this drain?
I know when I called down here on Brent Road, I own the property that my farm, or the drain goes across, and live on Raven. So this is gonna be assessed for what, 5-6 years? But then they said that the Knoll one is the next
Yes.
on the list to do.
Correct.
So I'm gonna pay, I have no problem with paying towards this. I mean, on the north side of that, the 70 acres there, I paid and fix that main myself.
Okay.
But we're gonna assess for 5-6 years. Why not just everybody pay their share now and let's get it done now? I mean, what are we waiting 5 years? I mean, it's like if I need a new roof and waiting 5 years.
We love it when people do that, but you gotta get everybody to agree to do that. I mean, if you can get enough people to just pay for it at the beginning, then
I
self-funded
mean,
assessment.
that's what I ran into on that other one that I put 40,000 into. I mean, what, I'm gonna wait 10 years, I got 7 acres, I get nothing off of it.
Right.
You know, I would soon just pay my portion and let's do it, get it done.
Yeah, it's,
It's usually easier on people to spread it out than to hit it all out on that one time. So
I
that's
like your
typically what
idea.
we've done.
Well, and I guess my point of it is that if you own the land, it's no different than owning a house. If you need a roof, you're not gonna spread it over 7 years, so you can't take care of the land.
we get a lot of owners that don't agree with that. They want, they don't want to pay it all right now. They want it in their yearly assessment. So that's, unless we get people, and so many people that come in and do an owner funded, then we would just
You could
collect.
he could set up an owner funded, right? And talk to your neighbors and see if you could get them to want to just do it all at once up front, and then you could get it done right away.
I mean, I guess just for me to throw money in a set account and it would not be done for, we're talking probably realistically 10 years before that and is funded and that piece that comes across me.
I mean, he could also get with his neighbors, and if they want us to reclassify it to reconstruction and assess it all at once, then I think the board would be open to it if the landowners are open to it.
Yeah, and then my other question was, is I do a lot of work with Allen County on this. Do we have any kind of grants that the county tries to go after?
Not that I'm aware of. We don't.
So it's probably just gonna be assessed thing unless I get.
It's gonna, just raise the assessment on it. We'll pay into it for a few years until we have enough money to get that 1,000
Do it
feet
as
done.
quick as we can, I guess.
And the knoll on my property there, that's the beginning, the start of it, that goes from Fraser across the road and drains north.
Where are you talking about?
I'm in the old swing property at 38. Because the outflow would be at that open ditch in the middle of that half mile.
You're to the north?
I'm right in the center of the screen, that
Okay,
property
all
there.
right.
So the North Sea down here at Fraser, that's the beginning part of that, and all flows north.
Correct.
Now, if that North Sea, if I, the top north half gets done, what section are we talking that's getting repaired?
It's starting at, once we get through the,
Because I know there's a lot of
Through the
laterals coming off
SCHOENAUER.
of that.
Right here.
So it's just that section there.
yes, for now, until we get past the North Sea, and then the same thing, we can look into the rest of it. If we have any work orders or anybody has problems with it, get a hold.
I know there's a section there that water stands there on my farm, but, so then that North Sea is gonna be the bigger one of the.
Correct. I mean, we can continue in the future on the SCHOENAUER also, if somebody wants it done, and if we have problems, we will.
So what are my options as far as that main on my property, which obviously I understand it, if the far end's not draining, because I had this issue behind my house that I thought that whole thing should have been done across Fraser's, and they just did a section of it, and I paid my portion of it. But I said, if you got point A and point B, and you got suck holes between it, you're just dumping dirt down
Right.
to a good pipe, you're not fixing the problem. But on my property, if I replace that, then do I come to you guys and say, okay, now we need to assess if I fund it and pay for it? Or am I just paying for it and that's it?
You're just paying for it. That'll be something, we don't have to continue on later to charge everybody the assessment, because you just paid for it.
Okay. So it's the same as I know when I put the other in, I had some people that helped me out.
Yeah, if some of the
And I had a handful of
landowners
people.
want to help pay on that drain, yes, and if you want to do the work and it's on your property, that's fine.
We've all had issues with farming and drainage, and had to suck it up part of the time because we didn't want to, like you're saying, we don't want to wait 7 years. And,
And I guess like I said, it's just, like I said, if you can't get the money to preserve the land, then, something else is gonna be done, but as like I said, you own a house and water heater goes bad, you're not gonna wait 7 years to replace
Yeah,
it.
you're not
The same
gonna do
thing
that.
with the roof, so my thing is let's just do it all, and not wait 7 years of, any one of those farms, if they've got water issues, you're not gonna get any producing crop on it for 7 to 10 years, but you're paying into a fund. You're not gonna, so, that's all I have to say.
Thanks.
All right, thank you. Any other people out there for that drain? Explain if they would, if we okay this, and then can we change our mind and decide to do a owner funded or whatever we talked about?
Well, I think they could do an owner funded at any time, even if you approve this, but I think still, if we wanted to go the reconstruction route, we could still do that this year. And then this would just be we would probably then want to reassess our maintenance rate after that.
Yeah, okay. So we need to go ahead with this right now, I'd say.
We'd say we can, and then
Okay.
If
All
they
right.
do a reconstruction, then you just won't collect it.
Yeah,
doesn't need it. That'll change it.
all right. Board got a comment? Ready for a motion, I guess. Pretty quiet.
Okay, go ahead.
All right, on the Schoenauer 616-00B, I move that we would do the proposed assessment of $40 per acre and $200 minimum.
Second.
Been moved and seconded that we do a $40 per acre and $200 minimum on the Schoenauer. And all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes.
I have one more question. Do you guys have the breakdown? I know when Brady put that together for me on that one that I replaced the main on, of what everybody's portion is.
I can get that for you if you want to come up to the office after the meeting.
Okay.
Yep.
Okay, we ready for the engineer's report?
Yeah.
Okay. Okay, so this is in reference to the reconstruction request put in for the DEMONEY EV drain. I put the drain there. The DEMONEY drain is located up in Smith Township. It starts as an open ditch from the Blue River and then turns into a tile there. The tile is 6,400 feet long, and there it is. Here is the watershed for the tile portion of the drain. It's approximately 565 acres. The request was by Philip Arndorfer and Edmund Newfield to reclassify the drain as reconstruction, to lengthen it in order to serve approximately 80 acres of field owned by Arndorfer. The field is currently pattern tiled and collects, you can kind of see there's a pink line there in between Newfield's and Arndorfer's property. And that is the field tile goes into that private tile that goes across Newfield's yard, under Bird Road, and then across into land owned by James Milliken, where it discharges into a wetland. You can see the end of the drain there ends right at the wetland. So the yellow line is what we call the compass sheet. That's the historical recorded location of the drain. Here's a brief history, just as a reminder. In 1999, the upper portion was vacated. That's the portion in the red bracket. And and it was vacated for the purpose of constructing that wetland. In 2016, approximately 4,800 feet of tile was replaced up to 450 East, and it ends in the bottom of the picture there with the pink circle. In March of 23, you can see up kind of the top right, there was flooding reported in Newfield's yard. Shortly after that, trees and roots were removed from the private tile, which alleviated most of the flooding. In November of 23, there was a meeting with the landowners and also with Woodland Lakes, who is kind of the conservation agency that manages the wetland, to determine jurisdictions and options. If I remember right, basically we decided that the county tile starts as it exits the control structure for the wetland, and the control structure is not in our jurisdiction. We also were going to, until this request, we were going to wait and see if the drainage flooding issue had been fixed, and then see if steps needed to move forward. But then in August 24, this reclassification request was put in so that the field could be served by a county tile. I'll stop for questions if anybody has any questions or comments or.
You're good.
I took some time to draw up some alternatives for this. There's approximately 6 alternatives if you include the do nothing alternative. And as you can see here, basically we can, so I have take over the existing tile. That would mean that the DEMONEY would pick up again in the pink line. There would be no change to the tile. It just basically changes ownership. We take it over. And then there's a number of reroutes to the southeast, and then 3 kind of minor alternatives to the northwest. And then the next page here is kind of a table showing the different impacts. You can see the length of new pipe that would be required. I put the depth range in because some of those routes, if you look at the northwest roads, one on the bottom there, our excavation depth goes up to 25 feet. That's a big hole. And then if it has wetland impacts, approximate clearing area, and then an approximate cost estimate. I will note that I do have lengths of new pipe for takeover existing. That was just so we could look at if we were to replace the pipe we take over, how much would we need and how much would it cost. So that's basically it. I'd like to open it for discussion. You probably noticed in your packet there are more slides that go into each alternative just a little bit more if we wanted to look at those, but basically we need to decide if we think it's worth moving forward with the reconstruction request to lengthen this drain. And just let me know if you want me to.
Pink line that goes into the wetlands, did you have a comment that you could make that a county tile like the way it is?
After the public hearing, if there's a favorable opinion on that, I think you could both take it over and then
Just leave it the way it is.
Leave it the way it is, and that would just be the upper end of the DEMONEY drain.
Yeah.
So how bad has the flooding been since Spencer went in and cleared the trees?
I don't remember the date. I can look it up here, but we got like 2 inches of rain in a few days. Max and I went out there like the next day, and there was no water standing on the yard at all.
You could see it down the standpipe, but there was no flooding.
So it could have all been solved already with what Spencer did.
Yes.
I think a lot of it has been
Yeah.
fixed by that.
Yeah, we haven't seen any water stand yet since he's repaired that on the other side. He put in some new on Newfield's property, and then he did some work on Milliken's right there at the road. There were tree roots, and they replaced some pipe, and we haven't seen it flood.
It was
yet.
bad. It was bad.
It was bad, yeah. It was full of tree roots.
Yeah.
So they opened it up pretty good.
Yes.
As long as it's open, as long as it's got fall out of into the wetlands, I think it'll work.
It flows.
James?
Yeah, James Milliken, 4720 East Bird Road. Yeah, that was my biggest question. I know, like I said, a year and a half ago, it was tabled with all that repairs and all that done, just to see if we still have an issue, and I wanted to get confirmation, kind of get it on the record, if the county knows if there is still an issue with that water. Because I know last spring, we had that like 9 inches in like 24, 48 hours. I know, I believe a couple members might have drove by to check on it. I just want to know where the county stands, if the county still thinks that there's an issue on that or not.
Have you seen it flood since? It's not flooded. Okay. They've been.
So when we had that 9
multiple
inches of
meetings.
rain, right?
It didn't.
It was there for less than a day, which
I
you're not, any tiles ain't gonna move that kind of water, right?
It's been working.
It's been working 100%. I know when Spencer fixed all that on my property as well, we went out in that finger, we dredged that finger all out, from all the silt buildup coming out of Andorfer's field over the last years. Yeah, we cleaned out probably 30, 40 foot, get it way out in the wetland. I mean, I'm not sure it's frozen right now, because, I mean.
Water running.
The water's moving.
Yeah.
But yeah, they're,
I think
they're
you
for
should-
a couple of years, they're for about a year. I mean, they got bad, and we helped them out and got that all cleared up.
You, I think you commented that the boards at the bottom, out of your wetlands, that you would keep them down.
Yeah, I mean, I've offered.
Where it doesn't back up.
This whole last year, I had a board out.
Yeah.
This whole last year, I had a board out, and then, when I do that, about October, November, that thing's pretty much bone dry. Yeah. You know, you can walk across. So right in there behind the house is probably the deepest spot. That's the only one that holds water. Pretty much everything from the top of the M of my last name to the east, completely dry. And when it does that, we had that first freeze this year, killed every fish in the wetland.
And we just can't, we haven't got enough water this fall to help build it back up again, I
Right.
don't think. Do
We're
you?
keeping that board out.
Is it overflowing, is it overflowing on the board like now?
It's not now.
No, you're still trying to build it back up to there.
Yeah, yeah, it was, it got up probably to normal height there, after that first freeze. We got a little bit of rain and all that stuff and then the falling, but, yeah, I've offered, I think I was on record on that meeting we had with Whitley and Lakes and U.S. Fish and Wildlife and the board members here. You know, I understand springtime's a wet time, offered to help them out on the board. No problem at all.
Yeah. You've done your share.
I have, and, you know, I feel like we're trying to solve a ghost problem.
Yeah.
That's my opinion, and.
Yeah.
And also, I'm curious on why, I don't know if anybody's done any research. I don't have anything in the history of the property that I have on why it was important for them to abandon that north side. Because I'm thinking that you can't, I'm under the assumption that they did that due to the fact that you can't use a designated wetland as a retention pond. I don't know if that's federally, I don't know if that's federally stated somewhere in the U.S. Fish. I don't know if that's an NDOT, I don't know.
All we know is that it was pushed by, the former
Right.
NCRS person.
Yeah, no, Amy and Stacy were working on it. I got the meeting notes to where they voted to vacate that. But like I said, I would have to maybe get a hold of, that Scott gentleman from the U.S. Fish and Wildlife. He might know a little more on what the regulations are. But, I mean, I just don't see any reason why they would have been pushing to delete it if they didn't have to.
Yeah.
I think it's very hard to control, so when you have a big section in the middle that we have no control over, that's probably why they abandoned the top, because, you know, if this is a county tile down here, and then we have no control over this section, you know, it makes sense to abandon the top end.
Right.
We do have a few examples of tiles that are broken up for ponds or
Yeah.
wetlands, but not very many.
Yeah, I don't like those setups. We have one of those, and it's very hard.
It's, I also got in that packet, like, the statement that they were putting that into a 30, they're looking into a 30-year lifetime lease, or not lease, but easement for that wetland. I'm not sure if that verbiage is the Woodland Lakes or not, or if that's an actual easement signed with the U.S. Fish and Wildlife. I believe that's a separate easement signed with the U.S. Fish and Wildlife.
The only
separate
agreement
of-
we've seen, I believe, is between Woodland Lakes and the property owner. So which would be,
Right.
so that's the only one I think I've seen.
And like I said, I can talk to
Scott.
that Scott gentleman as well.
Do we know
Find out
whether
what-
we could do what you said as far as making that a county tile? Do we have to talk to Woodlands and them back?
Yeah.
I mean, we probably should talk to them.
To make
but-
that right with
But,
you.
but, you know, my question is, what does that give us? You know, I feel like I'm just getting property taken from me. If we just say, okay, yep, we're gonna make that a county tile.
Well, we would.
I got trees, I got all kinds of stuff down through there, I got pollinator plots going in, I got
Right.
a bunch of stuff like that I won't be able to do. And even designating that a county tile, I mean, it ain't gonna make it flow any better, or I feel like it ain't solving a single problem.
That just gives us the right to maintain it, so if it would plug again with a tree or something, I think that would be the benefit
county
of us
would have
taking
some-
it over.
The county would have some money to do it with, and not be hitting you guys
I
up
mean,
to
it's
do
at
it.
200 foot, I ain't too worried about it.
Well, the guys up above too, I guess.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know what the options are here.
Otherwise, it's a promise to you that you'll keep that drain working like we said. I think you're saying you're going to.
I mean, I have.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't see a problem. I think it's for future, if you'd move in 20 years or something to protect the.
Now, if we start seeing water up there again, we're gonna have to start digging again to figure out what, when it
Right,
starts
I mean-
backing up.
That's what I'm trying to understand on.
You can't.
I kind of feel like their petition don't have any merit to it because it's a petition with no problem behind it,
Yeah, at this moment, yeah.
you know? And then this petition here would be, pretty aggressive on the neighbors, depending on what route you guys went, because it's a whole money up front, all that kind of stuff.
The only thing I see that'd be possible out of the whole deal is if you wanted to call that a county tile. As far as that going clear out around, that's money prohibitive, I think, isn't it?
Yeah, I agree.
That's
I
clear
don't
out of
think
sight.
I think it's kind of pointless if it's working and draining, off of the other tile.
We're still gonna have to play it by.
Well, because they made comments multiple times that, they're not so much worried about that tile coming in the north, they're more worried about my box, and they think I'm backing everything up on them.
Yeah.
They told multiple people, I know they've been going around to the neighbors, telling them, all them that I'm purposely blocking boards up, trying to get them to sign the petitions and do all this, and it's just not a fact.
Yeah, I understand.
So, I think they'll even still have a problem with just making that a county tile, because they want control over them boards.
Right.
And I know Max has brought up in the past, I think last meeting, and Brad, sitting down and coming up maybe with an agreement with the county on doing some inspections on that riser box and stuff to make all this go away too, and, I'd be open to that discussion.
Yeah. Well,
Just so I don't have to remove all the vegetation that's, I bought the property for, I guess.
right, I don't think, just enough over the tile that you
150
know
foot.
what we're saying, that it.
150 foot, yeah, and then about 30, maybe 20 foot off of that, off the north side where it comes in there, you know, that's where I wanna put my barn and all that kind of stuff, so then I'm running into that, having to get easements from the county and do all that as well,
Right.
so. I hope we vote to do nothing, but, I guess it's up to you guys.
I guess my question, Max, when Spencer did that, did he just clear and fix problems, or did he lay a whole new tile up that was non-perforated?
Whole new tile.
So theoretically, we should have no more problems if it's
It's not
non-perforated
perforated?
tile.
No. Well, not the one, I don't think the one Spencer put in under that road is.
On Mewfield's side, it was he replaced for Mewfield with, I don't know if that side was perforated or not, but where they found the root, I think, wasn't that still clay though, right through there? I think,
On the south side of the road?
yeah, I think it was
No.
clay,
I
but,
think-
Should've been plastic.
but I'm not
Yeah,
sure.
I think it was plastic, I just
It
think
might
it
have
was
been.
just full of
Cause
roots.
when Land O'Lakes designed that, they put plastic in,
They
but they
put-
put single wall plastic.
Yeah,
They went cheap, and it collapsed once, it's been repaired one other time before you bought the property.
And Colfelt fixed it. and then-
Yeah.
I know, so Spencer did 350 foot in Ed's yard, so basically right there where that pink and blue are together through his front yard, he replaced all that, all the way to the road, and then came on my side from the road, I'm gonna say probably replaced 30-40 foot section on my side, and also cleared the trees back away. Majority, all those are pine trees, he cleared out all the water seeking trees. Yeah. he said-
I was there when they dug it, and it was definitely, you were there, I think, it was definitely plugged in
Yeah.
at the time, and we thought we fixed it to where it worked.
Right.
So,
So, yeah.
If you do nothing and there's a problem in 10 years, you can always revisit it, can't you?
Yeah, sure.
yeah.
I
I
just-
think it's cost prohibitive as this proposal is. I think what we've got now is fine, and if we have to address it again, we can address it then, but this, cost of this would be,
Yeah.
that's way out. And I don't, we the taxpayers don't need to be hit with that. I don't think that's right.
I agree. I'm not here to waste anybody's money. I think if
No.
the problem's solved, just leave it alone.
It's kind of a play it by ear for a little bit, see.
Yeah, and I'm good with that. I know that's kind of the way we decided a year and a half ago, and,
Yeah.
which I know you guys gotta go through the steps on all this stuff as far as petitions. and
I just
all that
think
stuff.
as long as James agrees to keep those trees cleared, on top of where we think the tile is, and out by the road to try to keep the other two homeowners happy, I don't have a problem with it, but
If he makes an agreement like that, is it, I mean, say he sells it, moves away in 5 years, is it binding on whoever would buy it from him, or?
Probably not, and then at that point, we'd probably have to look at maybe
Okay.
taking jurisdiction of it at that
Well,
point,
and
if
then,
the,
you
if the
know-
new guy didn't say that's agreed.
I mean, and it might be even possible to, maybe have that discussion with myself within Lakes and you guys as well, and maybe put it in the easement of the land that, hey, if you own this property, you know, you maintain this tile as well, I don't know.
But I believe
I don't
is
know how all that
if-
works, but.
if we have any more problems though, we're gonna, you're gonna be responsible to have somebody dig that up to make sure we're, from the outlet to the road. That will be the only thing, if we don't take it over, it's gonna be on your dime versus everybody paying
That's
into it.
fine. Yeah, I'm good with that.
Okay. Unless-
There was, Mewfield has mentioned a couple times about his septic problems.
Right.
I did bring Scott Wagner here to answer any questions on that, so I just wanted to bring that up in case you had any questions. So, he has told us that, well, I'll let Scott, would you mind making a statement on the septic here to, just for the record and for any questions?
As you know, septics since 1990 have a perimeter drain on them when they have a high water table, and 98% of the county has a high water table. That's why we have all these drains. So yeah, he has a drain around the septic system and it won't work well if he doesn't have the pool free and clear to drain that water off his property. So that does need to work or his septic system will fail prematurely, but, other than that, if you have any questions about,
Have you ever been out there since he, you know, he's always telling us that it's,
I've not been
it
noticed
won't work.
flooded, but I don't think I was called to look at that problem. So.
Yeah.
I believe Scott said that the way it's set up, it's got a pump and it will not back up.
Right, so there's 2 tanks, the second tank has a pump in it, that doses out to the sand filter.
Right.
If the septic system, if the tile outlet were to back up, it would prevent groundwater from getting away. And this water that he's pumping out there from the field, so you'll see it come on top of the ground and probably infiltrate the standing water out there first. It shouldn't back up in the house because that pump is stopping that water from coming back in there.
So it shouldn't have a problem in the house, is what you're
It shouldn't
saying.
have a problem with the house because it
Even if it's
goes in
flooded.
the pump tank, and the pump tank kicks it out. The only way to be is if the pump continually kicked on because it wasn't able to get the water out of the bed
Right.
and it burned up and then it backed up. But the pump would have to fail first before there would be backup in the house from a hydrostatic issue.
Okay.
And it still probably has a backflow preventer, doesn't it, or not?
No.
No.
They're not required to have backflow prevention.
Okay.
No.
Thanks,
Answer
Scott.
your question there.
As far as I know, it's still working well. It's only a couple of years old.
Yeah, it's not very old, but he complains that it don't work part of the
He
time.
still says today, he'll come in here and say it don't work, that's why he wants his project done.
Yeah, otherwise, I mean, I could go out there and look, but you'd see evidence of groundwater issues with the septic system, and they're pretty easy. Looking at that tile that's right there where the pink and blue come together, there's a standpipe there.
There's a standpipe in his yard.
And if
that
there
didn't
was
used to be
over,
there, didn't
if
there,
there's
James?
water issues.
There didn't used to be a standpipe in his yard, did there?
On top of that.
It's new and like maybe 3 years ago or so?
I think it's been there since I've owned the property.
How long is that? 5, 6 years. Okay, I mean, at one time there was not a standpipe and it flooded, and then
Right.
now there is.
Well, yeah, he had 2 trees in his yard, and he was convinced he did take the trees out. That was part of his trouble back in.
Yeah.
Was the 2 trees in his yard, and then they put the standpipe in.
Well,
But he's always saying there's a little bit of water in that standpipe, but
Well, that's
that
the
water-
nature of the beast,
Shouldn't
isn't
have
it?
water unless it's middle of August. There should be water in that standpipe.
Yeah.
Because that perimeter drain is supposed to be draining
Right.
water that goes out there. So the water pumps out from the septic, leaches into the ground, gets clean. That perimeter drain's 10 foot away from the septic. So it's drawing, that tile is drawing water 24 hours a day, every day of the year. So there should always be water in there.
Yeah, so should that perimeter drain, is it so many feet above the outlet drain over here? That was, the county, what I call the main drain?
It's just supposed to have 2.5 inches of fall every 100 foot.
Okay.
So as it goes around that septic system and this fall, that falls down to that standpipe, which is
Okay.
probably 75 feet away from the bed.
Yeah.
So just a little bit,
Right.
a couple inches.
And it's also got 80 acres at least of pattern tile going into the standpipe, so
Yeah.
it's.
So they're competing with each other, so there'll always be water out there.
Yeah.
Should be.
Yeah, if there's,
As long as the drain,
there's
as
a
long as the
major
outlet
flood
works,
somewhere if there's not.
there ain't gonna be water
And
out
we
there.
put perimeter drains, put septic systems in the summertime. If we're down deep enough, we'll hit water even in August.
Yeah,
And water will come out that drain when we're installing it, if it's done right.
right.
So there's always water there.
All right. Thank you. All right, what do we want to, how do we want to handle this? Want to just,
I don't think we need to take any action on it, do you?
But just table it at this point.
Yeah.
probably.
need
I
to
think
table
that
it?
a motion.
Well, I mean, I guess if you are tabling it because they're not here, that's one thing.
I
Or
don't
if
wanna do that.
you want to take action, you can, and just say we're not going to do anything.
Well, Mr. Chairman or Vice Chairman, I think we've dealt with this long enough, and then from the figures that we see here and what's going on now, everything seems to be working. I think we need to just close this case and proceed on.
do I hear a second?
Second.
Got a motion, and a second to move on with this, and leave it the way it is. James will keep the outlet open and we'll be in good shape. So, all in favor, say aye. Aye. Opposed? Motion passes. Don't come back to the next meeting, James. You missed too many. You can be on the board.
There you go.
Tried to rally all the neighbors. All the neighbors didn't want to come in on me.
I don't know what happened here. All right, next, field work, Emerick.
Okay, so the Emerick,
Thank you, guys.
the Emerick, we have things ready. I believe we're sending them out this week
This
unless.
week.
Okay. Sending them out for let jobs this week, to replace 1,800 feet of 48-inch tile. So that's pretty much all we have right there. Moving on to the GLICK.
I got a question on
Yes,
that
go
one a
ahead.
second.
Yeah,
How much,
comment.
how much money's in that tile right now?
On the Emerick,
Yeah.
$148,341.
So could we, are we about, when will we do, in the spring we'll collect again, right?
Yeah, we'll collect it again this year since we're spending it.
Yeah.
And start doing the next phase.
All right. I wanted to go as far as we could at this time, so,
We're gonna get to the open ditch.
yeah.
We're gonna lay in a Y and we'll be able to take off right from that Y. And then, we are gonna, in our let job, we put in there an estimate to move the dirt
Okay. yeah,
up
you
towards,
talked about that.
and we'll stockpile it. I still haven't been out to speak to them, but we need to find a place to stockpile it.
Yeah.
And, then we'll have the dirt to fill in the open ditch.
Okay,
When we come to that point,
all right,
or a
perfect.
lot of it,
Thank you.
yes.
I just wanted to mention that, with the outflow of this tile being a 48-inch at 0.04%, it has a capacity of 34 cubic feet per second, and if you apply that at 1,100 acres, that means that the watershed can handle 0.03 cubic feet per second per acre. So what that means is this will probably be one of our first restricted watersheds on what developers can output to the tile.
Really? Because it still isn't big enough, is that what you're basically saying, or
Mostly too flat.
too flat?
At 0.04%, and we were asked to keep it that flat so that we can get cover on some of the bigger,
Right.
deeper holes in it, which
Right.
is fine, but. Now for reference, most restrictions range from 0.1 to 0.25 cubic feet per second per acre, so we're well below that. And then there's a new development going in up on 33, as part of Churubusco. If you were to take the best practice, which is the outflow at the 10-year pre-developed rate, so basically in a 10-year storm, what does it outflow now? And that's approximately 0.08 cubic feet per acre. So they're gonna have to probably hold twice as much water as they normally would in order to,
They just had to put in a bigger
bigger pond.
pump, yeah. Because that tile doesn't even really go to that property line, does it?
The
It
tile
stops
doesn't make
before
it
it
that
gets
far.
there, yeah,
But they're still in the watersheds.
yeah. All right. So they'll be getting in touch with you probably. Or maybe they already
Well,
have.
I'm gonna create a layer and make sure planning and building have it, and these will probably start cropping up. I have another one that we'll probably need to do and on 700 South as it goes into Allen County, and that's actually an Allen County restriction. We just haven't really captured it. So.
Okay. All right. Move on to the GLICK.
The Glicky, so the Glicky is the one we've had the problems with out on Eshelman and Bauer. Yes, thank you, Jen. So everything is moving good out there. I think everybody is happy. So what we had done is we had told Emericks that we would go in the red for this tile because we spent so much money repairing and looking. And
Right.
so what we're requesting is we're gonna go out here and get our elevations and get a plan, and we're gonna need to go into the red for 2 years is what we think. We're gonna do, looks like 1,000 foot of 24-inch, estimated cost of $30,000. So that will get us to the road, I believe, and in the red for 2 years. So just, I guess we're asking if the board will give us that approval.
We wanna mention Howenstein at the same time. I think it'll need to be 2 separate votes, but.
Yeah, okay. And then as far as the next one will be the HOWENSTINE. So we raised the assessment on that.
And it comes into the GLICK, that's why.
Yep, it goes into the GLICK, and Emmerichs are also requesting that we go in the red on that one also and do both of the tiles at the same time.
One's 2 years and one's 2.5.
That one, yeah, 2.5 years. So, like Brad said, I think we'll need a vote on each one independently, but that's what we're requesting.
How much in the red is that? 2 years, like I said, 2 year one. I didn't see.
The GLICK right now, we have $1,900 on hand.
Years, yeah.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah, we got the money to use, so. Need a motion, I guess, to start on either one of them.
I move to allow the county to, on the 215-000B Glick E, to begin the project, go into the red for the needed 2 years to complete the work.
Second.
So moving and seconded to go into red for 2 years on the Glick E, 1215000B. Any questions? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes. West Holstein, the same thing.
I'd move that we go ahead and allow the county to go into the red for approximately 2.5 years on the Howenstein W289-00B.
Second.
Got a motion and a second to raise the Howenstein to go into red for 2.5 years so we can get this project started and completed. Any other questions? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes. So can they go ahead, will we bid these, or will they?
yeah, I'll have to get out and get them surveyed, and then we'll have to get our estimate, and then we'll set them out for let jobs.
Okay.
I need to get with Brian as soon as the weather gets a little better. We'll go out and get some shots, and
You don't want to go out today?
no.
Yeah.
So, well, I would, but
I don't blame you.
yeah. So as soon as I can get out there, we told Emmerichs that we would
Okay.
put that on our list here, let jobs.
Perfect. Any other questions? Any other comments? Jan, you got a comment? Meeting's adjourned.
I want to say, Alan, thanks for putting this all together. That took a lot of time and
Yeah.
talent.
Yeah.
I appreciate that. Helped us make our
I'm
decision.
not sure why they didn't show.